I do think that it's like piece together the clues in order is probably a more satisfying mechanic than we will have, to be honest. It's probably a more satisfying mechanic than we will have, to be honest. Probably a more satisfying.
Time 7:30, and we're morning people, but this still feels bright. Oh, my eyes feel like little tiny lobster peepers. Anyway, so last week was mainly not making games. It was kind of doing marketing meetings about our previous game, Queerman Peering.
So many meetings.
And then thinking about marketing for this one as well. This is actually last week was when I started making these making of videos. Anyway, let's focus. Meetings for Queerman Peering, for an exhibition coming up, which is going to be really fun. That's next year. We were talking about the install, which I think I mentioned previously. More on that. He was looking into funding for the next game, the Moonrise Fund. You had that meeting.
Yeah, Glitch are really rad. They give really good vibes, really lovely seeming people. So was just at a little, they had like a Discord stream, like a radio show where you could just ask questions and hear what they had to say about that funding, so that was really cool.
Yeah, cool. And we had the Powerhouse night as well, the up late at the Powerhouse on the Thursday.
It was huge.
It was so big.
Like 1,000 people.
Yeah.
And just stuff everywhere, people everywhere.
So many booths of people showing their games.
A duo of dudes who were cosplaying as Link in the Garuda outfit, which, it's the middle of winter. It was cold, but they were giving some exposed skin. They were taking it for the team.
We're veering off track. a lot of meetings, a lot of talking, a lot of not much production. So then on the weekend we kind of wanted to reconnect with the game. So we played some horror games, and I got a list of horror movies, and we were just kind of thinking about that stuff, and so we played the trial version of demo of Mortuary Assistant, and that was excellent.
That was, everyone had said it was really good, but you know, like often horror games, especially when streamers pick it up, are really gory or really like PvP based or really just kind of beige. That demo was so good.
And you really enjoyed Ethan Carter, and we had a breakthrough thanks to that.
Yeah,
what was the full name again?
The Vanishing of Ethan Carter.
Yes.
And so started playing it, and a lot of the puzzles were quite simple, and especially coming from me trying desperately to overcomplicate some of our early test puzzles and being like, it'll be boring if we don't make it really dense or like 5 steps removed or XYZ. Playing Ethan Carter and it being so simple and sometimes so satisfying in a way that I do think that it's like piece together the clues in order is probably a more satisfying mechanic than we will have, to be honest. It's probably a more satisfying mechanic than we will have, to be honest. Probably a more satisfying mechanic to be. That's just a deep, satisfying thing to do, and I don't. Maybe we will have a mechanic like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, my point of it is, it doesn't matter how complicated your mechanics are, and I need to be reminded this like fortnightly. All that we care about, all that I care about, is the story and the people and what's progressing. And if I care about that, I can be doing, like I can just be walking from A to B and pressing square. Like when Destiny is good and you're just pressing square on things, I love it.
Get to the button.
I cannot wait to press square on that, because you get more story. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
So now comes reminding myself every time I'm building something new that simple. And then maybe complicated later.
That was good, and then so this week you kind of had a bit more time, so you're getting back into Arcweave and controlling the logic and that kind of stuff.
Yes, trying to work out the workflow. It's like technically getting this slice, this kind of little snippet of gameplay, just like a reflection on what the game would be, a nice little vertical slice of the game, should happen really quickly, but I keep getting distracted by not wanting to build temporary things, because that feels like a waste of time, but instead it takes a lot longer because you're making something that can you reuse. Yes, so the workflow at the moment involves my new discovery of Arcweave, which is a web tool for planning games. I'm sure every game dev knows this. I just discovered it, and it is glorious to be able to quickly bash out logic and conversations, and it also syncs in with Dialogue System for Unity, which is the conversation system we've used since our first game, Pebblewitch. And I think we got a good little round trip happening, good logic flow happening.
Yeah, good.
I think it's working.
Yeah, good. Oh, and I had that good breakthrough with the paper mache as well, because as I was putting together the making of last week, and I was like in that video, I was like, oh, is the paper mache scary enough? And then I was looking for footage and like going through what I'd made, and I'm like, they're flowers. They're children's toys, and not in a creepy way.
Looks like something from a Batham table.
Yeah. There's like frangipanis, and I'm like, it's probably not going to scare anyone. So I was working on that, and kind of going back to references, kind of like Delia Dietz's sculptures from Beetlejuice, and old kind of, I guess, David Lynch shapes, which is kind of same era back then, like Eraserhead and that, like just weird stuff. And like body horror, classic body horror kind of stuff, and kind of working that in. So I'm glad that that kind of is headed somewhere now. You saw those skulls I sent through and stuff.
Absolutely.
That's really
and
working.
Kind of Junji Ito as well.
Yeah, Junji Ito, like, it came together really nicely. Like, I was thinking about color schemes and bringing those into the paper maches. The color scheme from The Way Between, which is a space in the game, kind of like a horror zone, and working this into the sculptures, and it just came together really nicely. So I was happy with that. And then I was working on lighting for the house, which was pain because I'm not good at that, and like baking was just baking, doing light baking and stuff is just foreign to me, so I had to struggle through that. But that worked really well. Had a good breakthrough on Friday. You were happy with it?
Yeah, it looks great. Really
so
great.
That was really good, and even the shaders worked, because on the last game I just got lost in the source of shaders and like endless tweaks and stuff, and this time's like straight up first time working quite well.
Having that noise through it and having a lovely, like, it's technically flat shading-ish, or like toon shading.
Toon shading with some normal.
But with some gradient and some normals through it and some noise through it.
So it reacts to the light a little bit more.
Yeah, it's not flat and it's not glowy.
No.
But it's also not looking like this video game is trying to look like things and how things look like in the real world. It's not an Unreal game.
No, it's stylized.
Yes.
Yeah, and we were thinking about the announcement trailer again. We decided we're aiming for Halloween.
Yeah, that's big horror vibes all over the internet, so let's go.
Yeah, and we're kind of negotiating which direction we want to take it, and also feasibility in terms of what's constructed. Whether it's just going to be one character to camera, or I'm thinking it's like a real estate tour of the house. So yes, and we're visiting the voice actor, Brian Harrison, end of this month, so we could do a record then. We just have to get that together. I think construction of the house is going well enough that it'll be ready.
You reckon? And that's lighting in every room?
I think there'll be enough. It might be a little bit empty, but it's a teaser announcement trailer, so it's
teaser
okay.
Could always just end up being like, get a hallway ready, get that big room you've already got almost ready, just pushing through to there.
Yeah.
That's fabulous and beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've already talked about the poster earlier, but you've been working on the poster art for a while.
Talked about that last week, but yeah,
and it looks
still
so good.
Yeah, now the new body, the new actually kind of creepy paper mache.
I do still love the old paper mache.
I think there's a place for that. I just got to meld them a little bit more. So I've got the horror, I've got the baby toys.
I still think it's about putting hair on it.
Yes.
Baby toys with hair on it? Ooh.
Yeah, love that.
Like human hair, not like fur.
Yeah, I've just never touched hair before, but that's, that might happen.
That sounds like too much work, don't you say that?
It does.
I did the title treatment.
Oh yeah!
I really like that. I think it's really fun and kind of what's the cooking magazine?
Donna Hay.
Donna Hay meets Jamie Oliver meets gothic.
You got to add a little satanic star, like I suggested. Gotta play around with that.
Yes, I have to add, of course,
Witch star.
the witch star.
Yeah, so I think it's been a good week, production-wise. Oh, and then we ended with good news. Do you want to share more good news, which we got through yesterday?
Yes, Queer Man Peering is nominated for an AGDA, which is super lovely. Nominated for Excellence in Emerging Games because we are a baby studio, so we...
Such babies, it's been 5 years.
We're in that category for another 3 years yet, let's go!
Give us our baby treats.
Teething rings, those little sticks.
Well, you know, I was talking about the paper mache looking like baby toys.
Turns out we make baby games. Yeah, so that's really great and a wonderful excuse to go to Melbourne. We decided to cancel that trip because we probably shouldn't spend the money. We're spending the money now. So that's really nice. That's really lovely.